Shannon, welcome to the Positive Leadership Academy podcast.
For having me. I'm really excited for our conversation.
Absolutely. I'm so curious because you went from producing TV in New York and LA, and now you are producing these exciting Lego workshops for Fortune 500 leadership teams. How that happened?
Yeah, well, that was my dream job. And then I became a mom. And after 16 years, now with a newborn and a toddler, I said, okay, I have to figure out what else I can do that would give me a little bit more flexibility. So I ventured into entrepreneurship. I opened a franchise. I began working as a business coach and then got certified in Lego Serious Play and started another business working like I do now with corporations and organizations, team building.
So for the people that are watching us and also listening to this podcast, right? You mentioned Lego Series Play. So I know there are some people that are not familiar with it, and they might say, well, "What are you talking about? I get Legos for my kids." Even though I do start doing Legos, believe it or not, like a coach of mine said, Javier, I think you need to introduce Legos to your life and just take maybe an hour or 45 minutes. So I do a couple Legos. I do have one that I have to do. But can you explain to us what happens? What is the magic that happens when you actually do a Lego series play workshop?
Well, I love that your coach said that first off, because it really is relaxing and it focuses you, whether you're a child or an adult. The first franchise that I opened after leaving television was a STEM education business for kids. So I started using Lego with children to help them think like engineers. And then I got certified in this and saw that the same confidence and creative thinking can happen with adults as well. And honestly, that we need it more than kids because we're so used to, especially now, apps and AI and technology and being on Zooms, that when you get people in a room together, you can build with Lego bricks and it actually helps to explain your thoughts and what you're thinking because you're showing it visually. So that's really what's so cool about it and why I was fascinated with it and trying to get us, away from technology, be more human to human facing and see what we can come up with when we're building.
There's a lot of interaction, I can imagine, right?
Yes.
It doesn't necessarily mean to build something or design something. It's more about connecting or I mean, I'm pretty sure you can even put um an activity where how can we communicate better and use Lego Serious Play?
Exactly, exactly, exactly. So every time I do a workshop, I meet with the event planner or the president of the company, the executive that's hiring me about what they want to accomplish. And sometimes there are issues or, some kind of communication problems that are going on. And we use this methodology to help figure out a plan for that team. So just this morning, I facilitated an event for a networking group that was in a co working space. And everyone was really leaning on each other and it's a really tight knit group. And so what we did is we built where they are in their business or their company right now, where they see themselves at the end of the year, and how they can use community to help them get their goals faster. So through building, it's a networking, co-working space. So not everyone knows each other, but they are very communicative. So each person got to explain who they are, what their goals are, and this is how I need help so I can reach my goals. So it was very, very cool in the sense that it was networking, but they were building and they were talking and communicating. And then it just led to more conversations. So it really is that method, that tool to get you to that end result. And I always say a little faster than meetings where not everyone speaks. This is 100% participation.
Yes, because you mentioned you call it the analog advantage, right? And especially now that we live in a world where there's so many digital tools, and I notice even a lot of people tell me, "Well, before our coaching session, I decided to talk to AI," which I'm like, "Okay, it's fine. You can talk to AI, but there, like you said, you're right. You can have a Miro board or you can have a Zoom breakout, right? But working with your hands is something special."
Yes, because think about it. Like, there's an example. I have a podcast about this as well. And I just recorded an episode about an event I did a couple of years ago where a bunch of teams were merging together from different offices across the world. And there was a buzz around the offices that there was a lot of nervousness and fear. And the leaders wanted to kind of nip that in the bud early and figure out what they could do to make it better. So we prompted everyone to build where they saw themselves in the company once there was a merger. And instead of in an office or in a Zoom coming out and telling your boss, you know what, I don't think this is the best use of the company's time to merge everyone. I'm not happy. I'm scared for my job. Most employees would never talk like that or bring up those thoughts. But in a workshop where they feel comfortable and they're building and everyone's on the same level playing field, they were able to portray those fears through their Lego bricks and then verbalize that. So now they're explaining where they see themselves and what their fears are, but they're also showing us.
Mhm.
And that's where the power comes because you can say, "Oh, I understand you now. You can
Mhm.
tell me one thing, but now I'm really seeing what you mean." And there's just such a breakthrough after that.
And how would you obviously when we have meetings and sense this when I do a virtual workshop or I do on site, I mean you can see the personalities, and if you have the entire department where you have managers and their contributors, you see dominant personalities there. How this structure of using Legos kind of contribute to perhaps having a more, we can call it community based or more collaborating as well, how that works since we're using Legos.
Yeah. So we usually start off with individual builds. So, and we have a prompt that, I discuss with the, hiring person who's hiring me. And depending, because sometimes I'll work with 5 to 10 people on a leadership team, and sometimes it's 100 people. So it just depends on the event, whether it's an offsite or a workshop.
Mhm.
And like I'm preparing for a small group leadership offsite now. And I spent a good hour or so with the president of that company learning about each of the people who will be in the room so that I'm prepared. I know the different personality dynamics and I can really lead it and suggest my different prompts and things based on those personalities. So that's really great to know. But if I don't have that opportunity, smaller individual builds where everyone shares. And then we take it a step further and we do community building where we are building, say we're strategically planning for the rest of the year, we're making a plan for a project or just an overall goal for the company. We will start building in different separate sections and literally connecting them, kind of like a detective board that you might see on a police show with the string. And instead, it's Lego. So it might be, this team over here is working on this project, and then this team over here is working on this. And by connecting it with Lego, visually you can say, oh, this is how we're going to get from point A to point B. So really depending on the time allotted and the goals, we can do individual, we can do teamwork, and then everyone feels like they know what's next and what their role in that action plan is, which I think is important at the end of every meeting. And we don't always get that direction.
Got you. So they know not to kind of step in each other toes. They know their role as well. They're
Yes.
collaborating as well, so that can take that down as well. That's really cool because we, in a way, you could democratize the creative aspect, and everybody's a contributor instead of okay, I'm dominant and I'm gonna lead this. Yeah, exactly.
It's exactly the opposite of that. Yeah, you wanna be able to just have everyone feel like they are heard, and then you start saying, "Oh, that quiet person who never speaks, now I see where their brain is thinking and where their strengths are because they're showing me in this different way."
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you work with hospitals, pharmaceutical companies, nonprofits. Can you share? I'm pretty sure you have many of them, but maybe take a few seconds to reflect on a moment, a workshop that you saw, a magical moment where people either, I'm pretty sure they come up with a lot of good answers, a lot of outcomes, but it was very meaningful to you.
Mm. There are quite a few. There was one I did, which I was admittedly pretty nervous about because it was about 120 executives at a hospital, actually. And it was large, picture like a wedding reception, round tables, all of the execs that led different departments in the hospital. So they don't really have a whole lot of overlap, but they were all mixed up and sitting in this reception room. And we had them build the problem that the hospital execs brought to me was that a lot of these executives, heads of these departments, were finding that their employees were coming to them for every little thing, and it was taking them away from the greater, bigger picture. And so I prompted them, let's build what your day would look like if your team was more self-dependent, self-independent. And when they started building, they were building what their day would look like and how much more that they would get accomplished. But it was also that their team would feel more self-sufficient and more collaborative, and that that would actually help the overall workload as well. And there was just this, kind of epiphany going off at each table when they realized that wow, not only would it be better for us, it will be better for them as well. All of the individual managers and team members. And so it was very cool to see that come and then see the different heads of different departments helping each other, and oh, this is what I do on my team. So it became just a big collaboration. And I've since talked with the event planner that hired, and she just said it was just something that they were able to take into their work afterwards. What I like to do is make a big report of what my team and I find, just listening to the conversations and witnessing so that they can have that action plan. And then I always follow up to say, like, were you able to implement? How is this going? And so it was really meaningful to me to see all of these different people coming together with the same goal and then actually learning from each other as well.
Yes. But and that's something very very important to do, right? Because you put all this energy, all this effort, the participants do that as well. But
Mhm.
what happened afterwards, right? Did you see a shift? Did you come up with as a leader, as a president, or did you see that shift happening? Because it's so important, right? I have experienced that where I'm always wondering,
Yeah,
are they doing better or they're doing worse?
exactly. I know. It's nice when they can follow up and let you know that, okay, this really did work, or if we were to do this next time, we want to try this strategy. I
Yes.
agree.
I have a question. I'm always curious because I do use some elements when I have these beautiful cars with different beautiful images, and obviously they're very expensive. And a lot of people say, "Hey, can we keep it? Can we keep it?" When you do this Lego, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Do they get like a kit where they can keep that, or is it more like, okay, you design it, take a picture, we're gonna put it back on the bin, and I'm taking this with me?
Give my clients the option to purchase the kits for each individual. And I would say 50-50 decide to
Yeah.
do that depending on their budget. So it is nice when they're able to keep it and take it home. But
Yes.
the other half, no, they take their picture. I take lots of pictures, and then I usually leave them with a little bag that's like a small little model just to help them remember the event. So
The
that's
event.
my yeah. I'm actually, though, Javier, I'm doing an event next week in Philadelphia, and the event coordinator wants each person to build a Lego minifigure of themselves that they can keep. So we worked that into the budget, and they're going to actually factory style design someone that looks like them. And as they
Wow.
go around and network a little bit and talk, they're going to be able to explain, well, why I chose this accessory, why I chose this shirt. So
Yeah,
I'm excited for that one. That's the first time I'm
that's
doing
super
something like
cool.
that.
Yeah, that's super. I'm pretty sure that's gonna create a lot of meaningful connections,
I hope so. Yeah.
kind of describing
Yeah.
your Lego figurine. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Beyond the workshops that you do, your bigger mission through second act success is helping women pivot from career and launching their businesses like you have done. What is the overlap that you see between a woman reinventing her career and a leadership reinventing their culture?
It's funny, I've given a lot of thought in just even the last year or so to that, and I recently separated both, the businesses into 2, but there is so much overlap. I feel like I help women leave something in corporate, build something that's theirs and grow it. And then I'm helping corporate teams build their business by really building their team and
Hmm.
communication.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's overlap there. And the fact that I am a business owner and have that experience, I try to take all of that experience to not only help my one-on-one clients, but my Lego Serious Play team building
Mhm.
clients as well.
That yeah, and it's true because the in a way when I was in corporate and I used to manage my sales team, I used to say, act is where you are. owner of a franchise, literally, right? We are giving us
Yeah.
your value, your time, but we are funding your operations in a way. So kind of see it that way. So that way you can also develop the skills if you decide to become an entrepreneur as well. So I can see what you're saying, kind of the overlap. And my final question here is, obviously we're the Positive Leadership Academy podcast right here. So what is one positive leadership advice that you can give to teams? They're high performing teams, but they are lacking what I call the creativity or the emotional connection with their teams.
What's my advice to the leaders of those teams?
Yes. Yeah.
Is I truly believe, even from my first career in television, it's all about the relationships and all about, again, communicating and just knowing that you're not just a robot in this machine that we're creating and what we're working towards each day, but you are a person. So to have those conversations and take the time to say, how are you doing? How's your family? Just those little thank yous, those little check-ins, I think are really important, again, to keep that positivity and to not feel like you're just on that hamster wheel all of the time. So whatever a leader can do to just check in, acknowledge, be that human, and again, take it offline and make it more, hey, can we have a quick phone call or even just sending an email? I know that's online, but just thinking of you, you're doing a great job. Something so little like that, I think goes a long way.
A long way. Yes.
Yeah, do you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I always said that leaders should think of their department or companies they work for as a living system, because
Mhm.
that's what it is. They're humans working there. So it's a living system. So we are human beings, first of all, and we are full of emotions, right? So how are creating our emotional intelligence so we can connect with those individuals, because at the end of the day they go home to their families. So if you make them feel good, appreciated, you acknowledge and recognize their hard work, most likely they're going to show that back to their lives, right? So it's very important to do that. Totally agree with you. Where can people find you?
Well, you can go to my website. It's buildbetterteamsconsulting.com, and you'll get links to my podcasts and my blog and see some really cool photos from events that I've done. Yeah, everything's over there.
Awesome, awesome. And then I will encourage, I'm very familiar with the Legos. I always encourage every leader to really tap into it. There's a lot of magical moments that happen there. It's worth the investment, and definitely huge rewards from those workshops. So thank you so much for being an important contributor of the Positive Leadership Academy podcast. And let's keep building Legos.
Yes, let's do it. Thank you for having me. And I'm so glad you're a Lego fan too.
All right.